Hi, pretty little lifters. In this episode, I'm joined by educator Kristine Ferreira. Kristine has her master's in education. She is a New York State credentialed teacher in PE and health. She is a certified group exercise and kickboxing instructor. She teaches yoga and Zumba kids and is a wellness advocate. I virtually met her on Instagram, and this is going to be our first time seeing each other virtually. I'm really excited about it. We've left each other voice notes on DMs before, but I am stoked to get to chat with her in sort of real life and see her face. I love seeing Kristine do awesome movement and lessons with her high school students that she shares on her Instagram. I love seeing her videos of them doing yoga, dancing, mindfulness, cooperative team building, and so much more. Now let's welcome Kristine to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast, Kristine.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so happy. Like, I've made so many wonderful teacher friends through social media, and you are another one that I have made. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I get so excited. Like, I know we're not meeting in real life, but I just get excited to like get to talk to you. And I know we've left like voice notes to each other and stuff like that, but I'm like, oh, now I get to see your face.
Yeah, I'm just so happy that I found you. I found you on social media. I think we had some mutual friends just in the education world. And I'm like, oh, a phys ed teacher. Okay. Because I've, been following like some other teachers that teach different subjects. But I'm like, finally, a phys ed teacher like me.
Yes.
So, and I just love what you promote and what you're all about. So I'm really happy to be doing this.
Yeah. And no, I know exactly what you mean. Because I feel like when I started, I didn't see a lot of like PE teachers out there in social media. So I feel like now we're starting to kind of come out of the woodworks and like show up a little bit more. So it makes me like super excited. But could you share a brief little intro of who you are, where you're from, and what you are currently up to professionally?
Yes, sure. I'll try to keep it brief because I could definitely go into
we can chat
blabbermouth. But well, Tina, my name's Kristine Ferreira, but my nickname's Tina, and I am going on 13 years now as a phys ed and health teacher. Yep. And I also used to be a fitness instructor for a lot of years too. I've kind of like put that to the side a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I could go into, how this came about and why I chose this profession, but that's my primary job right now is just
and
being a teacher. I do a lot for my school. And I'm in Westchester County, which is in New York. Yeah. It's right above Manhattan. So it is the suburbs, right above the city. So it's a very diverse high school that I work for. I'm in a high school right now. I have experience. I had taught middle school, but now I'm at a public high school. Yes, in Westchester County.
Nice. Yeah. So one of my favorite things, like one of the things I love talking to other PE teachers about is like, I love to know their story because you have people like me who are like, I was in elementary, but I taught fitness on the side. And then I made the switch to PE and health, after 10 years of teaching elementary. So I would love to know, like, what is your health and fitness background? Did you go straight into going to school for this? How did you decide to get into PE and health?
Sure. Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like many teenagers, I didn't really know what I wanted to do at first. And I knew I wanted to go to college. So I entered college just undecided. I didn't have a declared major yet. And then I started to think about, well, I really love radio and entertainment journalism. And I
could so see that.
I was a MTV fanatic. Yes. Like I just, but throughout high school, I was a competitive cheerleader and I did dance. And so that was bringing me joy. And I was going to the gym a lot and like taking taekwondo. And so that was very much always a part of my life was the fitness component of it all and exercise and some sports. My high school team was like a competitive cheerleading team. I mean, we were nationally ranked. So I blamed that a lot too. Yeah. So yeah, it was awesome. We were on ESPN. It was a cool upbringing. And so I got my degree in communications and then I interned for like a local news station. But during my college years, I was always taking group exercise classes. I loved that environment. And I remember saying, like, I want to be in front of the class. I want to be leading the group. And so during college is just like a means of some income. And as a part-time job, I got my AFA certification in group exercise. And so I was teaching classes. I was teaching classes at the school I was going to at the time. And so yeah, so once I interned and was like learning more and more about the industry with journalism and radio and television, I just realized, okay, this is going to be super competitive, and I'm not entirely feeling so passionate about it. But what is bringing me a lot of joy right now is fitness instructing. And then I got approached to coach. I began coaching cheerleading. And I don't know, I feel like it probably was the same for you, but I've always been drawn to kids. Kids have always been drawn to me.
Same.
I've been told I have a very like motherly and nurturing kind of persona. And so I've always loved kids. I used to babysit,
Same.
Yeah. So once I started working with kids and coaching cheerleading, I was like the light bulb went off, and I'm like, you know what? It is not too late. Cause I definitely I felt worried about going back to school. I'm like, I'm watching my other friends already get a job right away after their bachelor's. And I'm like, I'm going to go back now. But I was like, hey, it's not too late. Back to school, master's degree in physical education. It was a post-bachelorate degree, 71 credits. And I was
so you had your undergrad in communication, but then for your master's, you went back for physical education.
Back for physical education. And I was like a full-time student, and during the day I was fitness instructing. I was fitness instructing for New York Sports Club, eventually Equinox, and private facilities. I was a personal trainer at one point. I was doing it all. Zumba in particular is what I had the absolute most fun with. And
I could totally, that makes so much like seeing your videos. I'm like, you are a dancer.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so that became my dream. I said, and I actually remember too, like, I know when we think back to being in high school, and I'm going to turn 40 this year. So some of the memories are kind of slipping from me, but I remember taking dance in high school. And this is what's such a cool story too. I feel very grateful about it, but I remember being a high school student and taking dance for phys ed credit. And I was saying to myself, wow, Miss Lynn really has like an awesome job. She gets to dance and work alongside kids and has a great schedule. And that's awesome. Became my mentor. And I've literally taken over her program. And she's like, I love her. And she's like almost like a mommy to me. But yeah, so I work at the old high school that I went to, my alma mater, and I didn't necessarily expect that. I wanted any opportunity in Westchester County, but it is really fun to see that like full circle moment. And I also have like tremendous pride, of course, for my hometown and where I've grown up. So it's a great school because we're just so diverse too. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was the school. That school was your alma mater. So like that makes, that's even more special that it really was a full circle moment for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. How did it, well, here's the thing, because you had fitness background and so I have this theory of like, I feel like PE teachers come from so many different avenues. Like some people like grew up playing sports, they loved sports, and that's how they got into PE. And I think that's like maybe the majority of like the group. That wasn't how I got into it. Mine was more like, I love fitness. I want people to be well. I worked with adults, like, and then kind of came in this way. But I kind of have this thing that like, I think PE teachers who also have been personal trainers and worked in group fitness and know that like are really good PE teachers. Like I just have this theory, and like I just, especially when it comes to middle school and high school, like that's what I think, because I'm in the same boat as you. I had experience coaching adults and training people, and I just feel like when you work with adults too, you kind of start to see like what the kids are missing or like the missing pieces, and you can start filling the gaps. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Do you think there's any connection, or like what helped you? Did any of that carry over and like help you become a good PE teacher?
Well, that's exactly why I felt so inspired and appreciative of having found your page and what you promote and what you're about, a weightlifting program. I'm like, this is awesome because I agree with you, where I always felt like the majority of phys ed teachers are more of those that had been athletes in
Yeah.
sports. And you know, I mean, my entire team, yeah, and department, that's been primarily it. We have a former swimmer, we have the former lacrosse
Yeah.
player and the wrestler. But I'm glad that I still pursued it and believed in myself, and have shown my passion and what I'm about, and found a school where I can carry that out. And we provide electives, and that was my hope and dream too, where I get to be at a school where I'm giving yoga classes for credit. I'm giving,
I love
it's
it.
fitness. We have our weight room, and I tell them all the time too that this unit is what's going to be most valuable. Although, yeah, of course they can go on and play some tennis, or they could play. But for
Yeah.
most people, they're going to be going throughout their adulthood. They're going to be going to the gym, right?
Yep.
To stay healthy and maintain, their own wellness. So it's an important unit for sure. I also
Yeah.
do yoga, and yoga's been just phenomenal too, to be
Do the
teaching
kids love it? Like,
teenagers.
how have
They
they been
love
receptive
it.
to it?
They
Yeah.
love it. Yeah. So we have yoga. We have an AM yoga class too. And in particular, I said, you guys are the most, I feel like
Love
you're getting
it.
the biggest gift, because you're getting to start your day early with yoga. And I
Yeah.
throw in a little
First thing in the
mindfulness,
morning.
and I've gotten great responses. I've gotten parent
Yeah.
emails like, my child feels so much more calm going to her next class. That's like that she's struggling with, she's going much
Yeah.
more less anxious. And so, yeah, it's good. It's good to
Yeah.
have. So I like that I get to promote that, and be able to do it a little differently than some of the sports, because sports is just as important, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there
It's just
is an
different.
area for this too,
Yeah. And in season 5 of the podcast, I did an episode on, like, it was kind of a hot take, but I was like, I think we need to shift away from like sports based PE to like functional PE. And we are trying to create lifelong fitness, because I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of like adults trying to play basketball in their 40s and they tear something, and it's like, but what else are you doing? It's like, you're not doing anything else. Like, this is the foundation. Like, I think like fitness and those components of fitness, like that's our foundation, and we need that so we can do all the sports, so we can do all the recreation, and we can reduce
Absolutely.
injuries.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, think about it too, with any of the athletes that are playing a varsity sport, the
Yeah.
training is a part of their regimen. They also are hitting the
Mhm.
gym on top of their, sports skills and practice. So it's very valuable and important. But also, like, the school I work for, it's so big. We have like over 3,000 students. So
Oh
our
my
gym,
gosh.
yeah, our gym is filled with multiple teachers, classes up to 50. So that environment can
Yeah.
feel really, really overwhelming for a lot of our certain kinds of kids who are maybe a bit more introverted, or,
Yeah.
sports gives them so much anxiety because they don't want to be put on the spot, or that's not really their
Yep.
thing. So by having
Mhm.
these electives, it's been really helpful for them to have a different environment, more intimate setting, more smaller
Yes.
class. So it's
So you
good.
said you have like a large school, like 3,000 students.
Yes.
Because I know all of us have different schools, we're all over the place, different districts, different setups. What is your like PE facility setup? Like, I'm always so nosy about this. I'm like, what does everyone
Yeah.
have?
I not a problem, and I'd love to tell you. And I did have some education experience before having come back to my high school and getting a job there. I did work in Manhattan, and this was an all girls school, all girls middle school. So very
Oh,
different from one place to the next, but very, very amazing experiences, and I'm very grateful actually for that, having been my foundation, my first job as a
yeah.
teacher before coming over to the high school setting. So that gym in the city was cool because, I mean, I had the view of the Empire State Building, for instance, but it was just
Love it.
this one little room, definitely not a full basketball court by any means, kind of half. But it being a charter school, I was very grateful that I had all the equipment that I needed to be able to
Mm,
get really creative and facilitate things. So yeah, I was definitely doing the best I can in that space. But you couldn't. And we'd have this like, we had this like playground, kind of almost like skate park, which was super cool, by the way. You want to hear one thing about,
Yes.
we shared the building with a public school, a public high school. And one of the units that these like New York City kids in Manhattan were getting was a skateboarding unit. They were making their own skateboards
Whoa,
in like
that's
tech,
so
like
cool.
woodshop class. And then they were actually, and I'm like, that is awesome. Yeah. So I love that.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And so when I worked at that school, at being middle school, there was a lot of fun things I got to do at that school in particular, because it was only just me representing phys ed.
Yeah.
So I got to like organize field days, and it was just a different environment. Now I'm a part of a team with like a bunch of teachers, and it's a huge school. So my school I'm currently at, we have like two football, the main football field. Then there's like another, I guess for lacrosse and soccer, and we have the softball field. We have tennis courts. We had a pool. It's under construction, but we have a pool. Yeah, we have a weight room. We have the studio that I use that I use a lot, where I teach yoga and dance. We have a bigger dance studio that's for our arts program. I mean, the school.
That's amazing.
We have one gym. We only have one gym though, and
so
like
you guys have
my
to
entire
share.
team is like, we can really benefit from a second gymnasium. But we do the best we can.
Yeah, I think that's like the one interesting thing I find about just like the resources, like, you know, in our state, for example, in your state, you know, you're expected to teach certain standards, but everyone has different resources. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so interesting to be like we don't even have a gym. Like we do not have a proper gym. It's like, it was like a classroom with, not a classroom, but some type of building with two garage doors that went up, and it had an accordion door in the middle. So now it's become two spaces, because two spaces was better than one. Because we do a lot of like lessons in the space, but then we have like a big field and like 1-2 basketball courts. But I mean, I was like, oh, I'd love a gym. Like, what would that be like?
Yeah, weight room, right? I know. We do have a weight room.
You know, to be able to have like
it's
proper
interesting
spaces.
Since you're out in LA, I just wonder that maybe they aren't prioritizing too much the fact that you need like this like giant indoor space, because you know, most days of the year, right, are pretty sunny, and you could take your students outside.
We can be outside a lot. So, yeah, we can be outside a lot. I think it's definitely just interesting, because I think PE is still like, I want to say like generally people think of it like old school still, like you go outside and you run around and you're playing games and you're doing these. And they don't think about like modern PE, like what would that look like, or what do we want our adults to do? Like what facilities would we need for a kid? Like almost like reimagined, like what would a proper gym and weight room look like? What would a proper this look like? Or pickleball courts and tennis courts and like, you know, so it's hard because a lot of these schools are old. They haven't been updated, you know.
And outside's not always the easiest to teach in either, right? Because now you're needing to kind of like lug along, right, the supplies that you might need for it. And just, I don't know, there's something about an indoor space where you can create that layout and those routines, and right, you have visuals, and you have, so I get that too. Yeah. Just to go outside, it's not always easy.
Yeah. So you're also a high school teacher, and so am I. And I've taught elementary school, middle school, and high school. And I was always scared of high school, and now I adore high school. I just like think it's such a fun age, and sometimes they can be hype about things and they're really funny, but sometimes they're like super low energy, and I'm like, come on, guys. So it's like a weird mix, but like what, and my thing is, and that's why I was so excited to connect with you, because I feel like there's a lot of really good elementary PE teachers, and like, you know, it's not as much in middle school, but it's even less in high school. And there are good middle school teachers, but like, I feel like a lot of them are in elementary, and I see all these amazing accounts doing amazing things, but like, I don't see as much in the high school space. So I was excited to connect with you. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, somebody else who gets it, who's trying to like do the most, but like, what do you like about teaching high school PE, and like what would you love to see like shift collectively? Like,
yeah, I think sometimes the biggest struggle is the motivation piece, right?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, because that carries out even with us adults, right? Where we don't
Yeah.
maybe have the energy or don't want to be exercising and sweating, and you know, they get a little preoccupied with that. So that could be tough. But if I feel like if you are, and that's where I think I am pretty good with that, is I feel like I do exude, and I am that role model of like, hey, you should love it and this is why. And
Yeah.
you know, there's positives you could take away from it, and there are benefits in moving your body. And so if you come with that energy and you provide that excitement, and you know, you come prepared with some fun activities, then you usually can get everybody to be on board with it. I do like to, it's a little challenging when I am in the gymnasium and I am having to share the gym space with others, because then it's, you really need to collaborate with the other teachers there, and you know, maximize the space as best as possible, and of course with the resources that you have, which sometimes is a challenge too. I mean, we fly through birdies and we fly through pickleballs like nonstop. So we're like, oh wow, we're down to one already. Like we just went through a whole bag this week. So that could be tough. But when I do have my own class in just one space together, like the weight room or the studio where we do yoga and dance, that's where I feel like I could really thrive and get creative and
like
do
seeing you in
fun
there.
stuff.
Yeah, you made a really cool
I like
space.
to kind of be on my own with,
Yeah,
and
you
so
made a cool space.
I mean, and it's just adding fun little things. I mean, what I try to do is maybe devote like certain days of the week for certain activities too, you know, so it's not always just the same, and even just throwing in little energizers or even just little like check-ins. Now I'm super inspired because I just completed this workshop this week on restorative practice.
Oh, like is that like the same thing as restorative justice?
Yeah, very similar.
Okay.
Very similar. And I just love that. As much as that those aren't necessarily physical activities, but if you throw, I mean, you're going to get so much more out of them if you are prioritizing that connection piece and the relationship that you have with your students and that they have with each other to feel comfortable in the room.
Yeah.
So if you just throw in a little circle moment, let's come together, just like with sports teams, the huddle, it's powerful. I'm feeling so inspired by this recent workshop. Yeah.
I love that. I'm so, like, I saw that you posted that today and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. But like, I can tell by like talking to you and like your energy and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, you're like a good community builder. Like I can tell like you're good at bringing the kids together, being like, no, like, come on. Like I could tell like, yeah.
I need to make one of those reels of the more energy, more passion.
Yes.
That's
oh my God. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that. And I do love, because you actually, now that I know that you were a cheerleader, this all makes more sense because I feel like you seem very comfortable dancing too. And it's funny because I love to dance like on my own or for out, like I love dancing, but I'm not like a trained dancer. Like I did cheer for a year and like have taken some adult ballet classes, but I'm not like a dancer. So I don't feel as comfortable. Like I'll put on dance videos for the kids and stuff, but like I'm not leading it per se. But I love seeing videos of you where you're just like going out there dancing. I'm like, yes, Kristine, get it.
Yes, it is fun. It's fun. I do have a dance section, that I get to lead. So it's great. I wanted to build more. So I'm trying to get more and more students to sign up for it. That's my hopes.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be really fun. So we've been talking about like the kids a lot and the spaces a lot, but what about like you personally? What are some of your habits that you have in place to take care of yourself as an educator and like prioritize your health and your peace of mind? Like what are some of your habits that help you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have been working out, my whole life, so that has to be prioritized. I've shifted it where, I used to be the one leading the classes. I used to teach boot camp and kickboxing and all of that. But unfortunately, I have developed a bit of an injury, and so I just kind of been shifting my fitness journey in a way. And now I've been taking different classes. I've gotten into Pilates. I do Pilates reformer. I've been seeing a personal trainer, and I like that one-on-one environment now too, and kind of focusing more on the strength training. I feel like I used to be more of that like high intensity interval training type, just jumping around all over the place and sweating a lot. Now I'm more focused on the core strength building and the strength training that I'm having with one-on-one sessions with my trainer. So I do that. I also, in recent years, have gotten much more into meditation and just, just how much it really can help a person just remain more calm, manage their emotions a little bit better. And what else? Self-care. I mean, I love getting massages and the acupuncture.
Same.
And the
oh my gosh.
recovery
Sign
stuff
me
and
up. Sign me
getting
up.
my nails done. I mean, all those things that I could be a girly girl. And
Yes.
traveling is the best gift that you could give yourself to. At least that's for me anyway. When we have our breaks, I'm like, where can I go next?
I know. I saw that you just went to Cuba, right?
To Cuba, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And you guys, she had these beautiful pictures of her and her boo taken while they were out and about with these, it just looks so timeless and old, Cuba. It was so cute.
Yes, that's been a bucket list place for me because people just kept telling me, oh, it's like you've gone back in time. And I'm like, that's what I want to experience.
Yeah.
So seeing those old cars and their love of music too, and salsa and dance, that was and the beaches are beautiful too.
Oh no, that looked so nice. But yeah, I'm so on board with all of your healthy habits too. I just feel like I have to prioritize myself. I am number one, because if I take care of myself, then I can show up for my students. I can show up for my school. I can show up for my family. I can show up for my partner. I have to prioritize myself. And one thing, and I've talked about it, in several episodes, but it does make me sad because I see a lot of teachers who care about their students in school so much that they put themselves on the back burner, and you can just see them getting tired, see them burning out, see them not eating well or exercising or taking care of themselves, and just slowing down and not you could just see it, in their energy, And
agreed. And that's why I started rolling out last year a class that gets offered to our district, and it's self-care for educators.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've been helping
Tell
them.
me about this. Oh my gosh.
Well, I see that you teach some of that. I noticed that you teach the dimensions of wellness. That's one of the topics.
Yes,
the dimensions
as it
of wellness.
should be.
So I have them do a bit of that wellness wheel and kind of do a little self-diagnostic of, hey, what areas am I very strong in and areas that I could use a little bit of improvement in. So maybe you do have that person that, yes, their occupational wellness is at a high point because they're very passionate, they're very focused, they're very organized, they're doing all the work. But where's your physical wellness at, right? Where's that emotional wellness at?
Yeah.
So I like that, and then we kind of touch on different things that we could do to incorporate and carve out that time for us. And it's not about being selfish.
Love that.
It's not at all. It's because like you just mentioned, if you don't prioritize yourself, it can have a direct impact on all the other relationships that you do have, and it can impact your profession too if you're so burnt out. You see that teacher burnout, right? For a lot of people.
Of course. No.
Yeah.
It's so important, and I'm so glad you're teaching that. So is this a class that can teachers get salary points? Is it free? How does it work in your district for this class?
Yeah, so how it works is that we have a district catalog, and every year, and for the fall season and the spring season, maybe I got that mixed up. Winter, no, yeah, I think it's fall and spring. But anyway, and so teachers can, and there's different amount of credits that you can earn. And so we're allowed to complete a couple of what we call in-service credits, and that comes from our own district. And then you can complete out-of-service ones that, depending on your education level, that's what would be determined. So for instance, let's say you already got your master's degree, you can go and complete a couple of other additional graduate level credits. And once you've achieved that plus 30, it can help you to, bump up a step in salary so that, for some people,
you guys kind of do what we do too. We have you increase your salary by years of service, but then you can also go this way by doing additional units and salary points of professional development. So it kind of sounds like that on our side.
Very similar. Yep.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So this class that I offer, is 1 credit, and we do meet for a few hours 5 times.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I actually attended it was a teacher yoga wellness class when I was getting those points too. And I took something like that, and it was just so nice to just like go do yoga and then talk about different things in wellness and stuff. And yeah, like eventually I would like to host one of those, like something like that too.
Yeah, I do.
And then maybe something for
bit of
PE
it.
teachers. Yeah, I think it would be so great because, like I said, like, and you mentioned, like, I think a lot of teachers do well in their occupational health and they're loving their job, they're doing the most, but a lot of the other pieces of the dimensions of wellness tend to suffer, you know, and we want our
Exactly.
teachers to be healthy and so they can keep doing a job that they really, you know, enjoy. Um, I have another question I always ask my guest, and it's, what advice would you share with your teenage self and teens today?
Sure. Okay. Well, let's see. So the advice I would give to myself as a teen and teens today is just to believe in yourself and to believe in your worth. You know, I feel like when you're a teen, you get just so preoccupied in your mind about others and how they
Mm-hmm.
feel towards you. And then as you grow up, you realize that stuff really shouldn't matter. And also just how important it is to surround yourself with people that want to see you happy, that want to see you thrive. Um, you know, I've been told, sir, to be a little vulnerable here, but, and I think it's healthy to do that sometimes too. And even in front of our students
Mm-hmm.
sometimes too, it's okay to be a little vulnerable once in a while and share a little bit, of like certain things that you've gone through and just certain wisdom. I feel like they really love to hear those kinds of stories, but I've
Yeah.
been told in life, just like, that, for instance, oh gosh, when I was, student teaching, and it was the elementary level, and my, person that was mentoring me, basically the teacher there, was like, I don't think you should pursue being a phys ed teacher. You should open up a dance
Stop.
studio instead. Because I was having a
Interesting.
little bit of a hard time. It's
Yeah.
very hard to manage a big group of little ones, right, with tons of
Uh-huh.
energy, and you have to watch out for their safety. They were playing a tag game, and I remember these two kids bumped heads, and I was like, "Oh no, now what?" So, and he said that to me, and that really hurt. But I didn't let it, stop me, and I continued to
Yeah.
go. And then I remembered bumping into that mentor of mine at the New York State conference, and I was presenting. And I had already been teaching for a couple of years, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you should come to my
Can you come to
you
my
should come to
conference?
my
Like,
workshop." Yeah, and I
come,
was just,
learn a
and
thing
I
or
was
two.
exactly. So that's what I mean is
I
is
love
to
that.
so you really got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your own
Mm-hmm.
worth. You got to block out the negative and the
Yep.
yeah. So
I
that's what I
love
would
that.
say.
I love that story. Thank you for sharing that story
Of
too. I think that was
course.
like a perfect like example, you know. That is so funny though, hearing the elementary school kids. And I mean, that would be me too. I'd be like, oh my God, like what's happening?
I love the little ones,
They're
but yes,
so
I don't have
cute.
very
They're
much
so
experience teaching that age at all.
yeah. Yeah.
Did you
It's
ever?
funny.
No, just middle school, right?
Well,
Were you in high school?
I taught elementary school and I would teach them PE too. So I would do PE like with
Okay.
my students. So that was my experience doing like elementary PE, but I wasn't like a PE teacher then, but I was a trainer and I was like coaching and stuff. So I'm like, I know what
Okay.
to do. Like I know the things that they need and I would look up the standards and I was just like teach my class and stuff. Cause you do get, when you get your multiple subject, you do have a PE authorization in there too for
Okay.
like up to sixth grade. So because you can, it's part of the multiple subjects because not every school has a PE teacher. Like a lot of the schools I worked at did not have a PE teacher in elementary school.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
really hit or
fascinating to hear the
miss.
differences of the states, right?
Yeah.
It is pretty
Yeah.
wild to know that although it's America, there's such differences happening in different
Exactly.
states and different
Exactly.
schools. It's just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And that's
youngest
why
I
I
taught
love
was fifth
talking.
grade.
Yeah. Oh, the
Youngest I
youngest
taught
was
was
fifth grade?
youngest was fifth grade, but in that student teaching moment, these were little kindergartners and
That
they
is
hit
so
heads, and I was
funny.
like, oh gosh, now what do I do?
Yeah, I
So
know. It's so
yeah,
different. It's so different.
very different.
So how can we support you? Where can we direct people to see you?
Oh yeah, sure. So I did create a Instagram account that I want to just put much more on and just promote what I love to do. And so it is Miss Ferreira's class. It's miss.ferreira's.class. And I definitely want to build upon the social media because I see so many teachers doing such amazing things too, and how we can connect just like we did too. And just, it's only positive things that we're going to get from it. As we can collab and, jump off ideas from each other and just build a nice community. So for what we look.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I will share her Instagram handle in the show notes so you can give her a follow and see what she's doing, like peek into this, New York school and see what she's doing with her high schoolers. I think it's awesome to learn from each other. And I just want to say a big thank you so much. And I know we're 3 hours apart and this is being recorded on a Friday and you've had a long day, and I appreciate you for taking the time to talk with me. It makes me so happy to see other awesome high school PE and health teachers doing the most to make sure our kids are really learning valuable lifelong skills. And I know you're doing that. And I appreciate you and what you do so much.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad we got to connect like this. I've really wanted to do this for a while. I love having people on that. Like, I'm like, I want to talk to these people because we were like chit-chatting behind the scenes so much. I'm like, okay, now let's do it on camera for everyone to see. Yes. And one day we definitely have to meet.
Yes, I know. We've been talking about that. I was like, oh my God, come to LA. I was like, it'd be so fun.
Yes. I'd love to, especially right now, because it's very cold here in New York.
Yes, no, definitely. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for listening. And thank you again, Kristine, for being here. And I will talk to you next episode.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.